Welcome back. My name is Sue and I'm from OML Embroidery. And today we're going to be working on some flowers because we're building our garden. Now we're going to start off easy, but I'm going to give you guys homework. The homework is going to be a class that I did a couple of years ago, and it's awesome. It lets you into a big secret that nobody realizes. What's that secret? Is if you take pictures yourself of anything out in public, there's no copyright to them. So it's huge to go out in the garden, take pictures of your flowers, and that's what we can digitize. So in the one there, I think it's my friend's garden, and it's amazing. The one flower, I did it like 5 or 6 different ways just from one. Now, it seems a lot of people can't do that. They want vector or, clip art or whatever. You don't have to make it realistic. You can make it, cartoony if you want, but it looks good. So I put up a link way at the beginning of the conversation, and it is a hatch video, but keep an open mind. You can still pick up a lot from it. So I suggest everyone go and have a watch of that. You'll be surprised at how much we can learn, and it's something I would like to do in class. We'll make a realistic video. So I see Karina, Dawn, Sandy, Misha. I see Judy Quilt, Isabel. Who else? There's Cindy King. Hi, Cindy King. We're always happy when you can join us. Ronog is here. Yay. Ronog Paulson. Yay. So a lot of familiar faces, and I love to see that. And new people too. So this is flowers. And we're going to start off basic, but I'm going to throw a lot of ideas at you guys. So by the time we end this, you'll have a lot of ideas how to do it. Oh, thank you, Sandy, for posting that link. Just save it into one of your playlists and you'll have it there, or make a playlist and keep that video there and watch it. Later whenever you want, but it's a great video. Don't be discouraged because it's hatch. You'll be able to get lots out of it. We're all learning that now. So okay, let's get started on basics, and we're going to work our way up, and probably next week we'll do the picture thing to give everyone enough time to are we having an other Sandy battle here? You guys are funny. You got, oh, Alicia, I didn't mention Alicia, did I? Oh my goodness, I'm sorry. Thank you all to the moderators who always show up early, have a chat, get everyone going. It's so appreciated. I can't do any of it without you guys, so thank you, moderators. Okay, let's say bye to my avatar and let's go to basics. So the first part you got to think about is the shape of the petals that you want. And you can see it's just a circle. I'll show you how to do these. This is actually a circle and this is an oval. So this to me looks like either a daisy or a sunflower. You could also copy and paste and make them a little bit smaller to make a sunflower and do the middle brown. There we go. So the easiest flower to do, and if you're doing a small flower, is to look here. We happen to have a shape and we're just going to pull out the shape. I mean, that is basics. That is easy to do. And it's still a flower. I mean, if you just want to put a little one, put it with like fill stitches, satin stitches. You probably won't get the angles properly. This is what we need to do for angles. But let's convert it to complex fill. And that's a lovely green. And then you can make it small. So if you want just little baby flowers growing up, you could put a center in it. So that's the basic. That's the basic thing. And there's nothing wrong with it. You could put make it a little bit bigger, and I'm going to go back to circle, and we're going to put a circle in the middle, and it looks better. It's just simply cute. It's simply cute. Now, flowers can be really fun to do. I'm just going to convert this to stitches. It's small enough. I'll do satin. I don't want a green though. Come on. Green flower with green in the middle? No. So that's just simple. And you know what? It's lovely. Oh, Ronag, thank you very much. Oh, Lila's in. Hi, Lila. It's nice to see everybody. Everyone gets chatting. It's so hard to see stuff sometimes. So this is flower number 1, which you can use in conjunction with others or just as a decoration or by itself. So that's easy. So the next shape is a teardrop shape, which can look really good. I think this one looks really good. So this one down here is the same as this one. It just has more scallops on it. But you can start off with this shape. So it is, let's do it. You guys must be used to seeing shapes. I'm going to make a circle, and I'm going to make that circle a little bit darker because I want you guys to see at least the outline. That's better. And then we're going to go into edit and node mode. And you could even do this. You don't have to have a point. So I'm just moving a node down. You can make it smaller after. But if we wanted to, we just change it to line. And look at that. How perfect is that? Mine seems a little bit off on one side, but I might have been playing around with it. And it's perfect. That is a perfect shape. All I did was move and change one node. However, this shape doesn't actually look like a flower yet. The best way and the most fun is to play around with circle copy. Now, every embroidery digitizing software will have that. I am using Perfect Embroidery Pro by Dime because I really like it. I use Wilcom E4 for business, but it's not playing around or anything. It's just strictly commercial business and kind of boring compared to all the goodies that are in this one, or Hatch, or Embrilliance I use for AccuQuilt because, wow, that's nice. So you're digitizing, make sure you have a digitizing level, but your digitizing software should have multiples. So you can copy and paste, you can repeat, which is groovy, and carousel. I think it's called carousel in Embrilliance as well. Oh, and don't forget about Embird. Embird has all this too. You just might have to dig around to find it. So you can do something simple. So let's convert it to complex fill, which is cool. And then I'm going to go into node mode again, just to maybe change the direction. So I'm just moving the angle lines or inclinations, and I'm just going to change it this way. Click apply. It just gives it a different look than what I've got here. So take it and multiply it, and that's cool. You can pop a circle over. I'll just borrow this one. Sorry. There we go. I'm saying sorry to the other flower. And, oh, it needs to be up first. It needs to... Karina, thank you. Let's play in the garden. Oh, we got bugs. We've got different things to do in the garden. It's going to be a big garden. I figured that flowers, basic flowers, were the way to start. So you can leave it like this, or you can merge it. So again, it's... Sandy, thank you. So it's the same as the simple one, but, you know, it's more. The more you add, the more it'll work. So I decided to fill this part in because to me that looks like a petunia. And I like that. And it's simple and basic. Filling in the center, this is the center here, is just an easier way of doing it. Now, if you start off easy with a circle, the final design, look, it's just about the same as this one, but it's a little bit smaller and more or less. But this one's super easy to do. But why don't we kick up the teardrop one a little bit, and I'll show you how cool this can be. Now, what's my size? Always find out your size. All right, I am working pretty small, so I'm going to convert this to satin because I'm small enough. It's still split, but that's okay. I am going to change the angle. Oh, there's more than one angle. Well, we don't need that. But thanks. But thanksy thanks. Let's see if I can do this. See, when I converted it, there's some going a different way, and that's because there's angles in it. Delete angle line is what we want to do. And I want one going this way, and it probably won't let me cross. So I'm going to get deleting that one. All right, so now we have one angle line, and I'm going to put it straight up and down. And that looks kind of weird right now. Why do we have another angle? Oh, maybe it's too big. Okay, that's getting kind of strange there. So I'm just going to make it a little bit smaller. It's still there. It's still there. So I don't know why it brings it up. Maybe just, it's okay. It'll add interest to it. It had a split line. Okay. Okay, that looks good. That looks really good like that. You could do it that way if you wanted, or you can add some detail that's going to look really fantastic when you multiply it. So this is okay. This is way better. So let's take our friendly running stitch because we are working small. And I'm going to take a really bright color, maybe yellow. I could have done purple. And I'm just going to run some color through. And I'm going up and back and up and back. And then hit enter. And that looks pretty good. Now, the stitches, the satin stitches, are going the same direction as these. So I'm just going to move them a little bit. They're still going to get lost a bit and maybe blend a bit in it, but that's okay. It'll give it a lovely effect. So let's go apply. Can you imagine already what this is going to look like? Yes. It's going to bring all the color down in the center. So just a few clicks, and you only have to do one. You only have to do one. So let's multiply it. You can see here, look how cool that is. So I'm going to make it about 3 inches. And let's see, I'm going to kick up the scale a bit. And on this one, you just bring it together. Now this looks kind of weird like this, but you will see what it looks like in just a moment. So that's easy. This is cool, actually. This is the underlay. And remember, I left it split. And it's amazing what it will do. Ready? Now look at that. Shall we? Shall we? Shall we? Alicia, thank you. What do you guys think? Now you could sit and play around with it. So using the basics, we just kicked it up a notch. Now you could do that with just about any, lines or back stitch or anything like that. It's amazing. So doesn't that look cool? I'm really happy with that. I think it's pretty. I like the way the satin stitches are here, and then it's kind of flatter here. It's kind of broken up here, but you know what? It'll look amazing. So you could sit and play with this all day. So I'm going to move him over here. I actually really like this one. We can make it, it'll change, but we can make it a little bit smaller and see how those satin stitches do. And if you don't like the satin stitches, just go ahead and make them flat stitches. See, now look at that. Isn't that cute? That looks even better. Let me check out the size. Size 3 by 3 almost. But isn't that cute? Now you don't even have to put a center in it because this is made the center. Now because I've made it smaller, all of the satin stitches are just kind of going properly. So it depends on the size. Obviously you can't make this one too big. You do want the satin stitches to split. We want it to split. Where would a split be? You could put some underlay on it as well. That would be groovy. We're going to do a color blend in a minute. Color blend. Well, I don't know where it is. But isn't that a pretty flower? So you take it from that. Nothing wrong with that. It's a pretty petunia. But now you can add some colors. And you know what? Looking at it from here, if you look, it looks like this is the inside. The way I laid down the stitches, it looks like it's got texture. So I'm happy with that. So from easy to a little more difficult. This one I did the same thing with just a plain circle, which gives it a nice effect. I even like it like this without merging it. However, I don't think flowers actually look like that, but you know, it's a flower-ish. We know we can do ishes, right? We know we could do it. So if you wanted a small flower-ish, there you go. Put a big center in it. You could do a couple of petals and you could change the angle on that. We'll talk about that in a minute. You could also make sunflowers. You can make daisies if you change the center to white. It's more like a daisy, or actually it's the other way around, but you get the idea. And all I did was create, boop, sorry, moving in here, create an oval with the shape tool, because remember, we're all about shapes. So we want to do an oval. Just doesn't have to be perfect. You can play around with it and get it exactly exactly how you want it. But just an oval, you don't even have to worry about it. Now for this one, let me check size. Okay, this is really small, so I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. And we can kick this one up too by doing almost the same thing. So let's make complex fill this time because I want it to be big enough. And I'm going to change the angle. So node mode and find your angle. It's going across right now and I want it up and down so we can still add some texture to it. If you wanted to tweak the shape a little bit, you could. Now is the time for that. You could do a couple things to it. You could add, let's go back to our simple running stitch. You could just add like not an outline but kind of an inline, and I'm doing curved around it. Or you could copy and paste the shape and make it smaller and turn it into running stitches. But for now, let's do this. Oh, and it's yellow. Yellow on yellow isn't gonna quite get me the design that I want. And it doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect at all. So I ended off right there. So I'm going to go down here right there, click it, and I am going to go back to my running stitch, and I'm going to put a couple of maybe curved lines, and I did that one wrong. It needs to be square on the end, and then curved one, and we'll just do a couple of them here. And we can bring in another color if we do it this way. And hit enter. Oh, did I forget to change color again? Apparently I'm going to have that kind of a day. So just a little bit, a little bit. And let's see how that one looks. You really can't tell until you multiply it. So let's go ahead and do that. Now this one, we want to change the angle and we want the color parts in the middle. So I guess it's supposed to be 90 probably to make it perfect. And again, I'll reduce that, and I'm going to do some more repeats because I want to. And then I'm going to bring the scale up. So see how they move? It's a really cool way of doing it. So they touch. They're going to be touching at the bottom. And I didn't do any particular design on it, but how cute is that already? So apply and OK. And look at our flower. Ready? I'm going to reveal it. Oh, you can see it there. Already, even with fill stitches, you have an interesting flower. Now, another thing you can do that you have to make sure you do the flowers big enough is that you can take, let's go back, hold on, brain, we're coming. You can take the oval, so I'm just going to copy and paste the oval, and instead of doing what I have here, let's see, I want it a little bit thicker though. I'm going to change it just a little bit because we can, and I want to make this part a little pointier. So I'm just going to pull this down a little bit so it's not a perfect oval. And maybe I'll even change this to line. So it's a long kind of teardrop one. Pretty good. I like that. Okay. And then let's do convert to complex fill. There's nothing wrong with complex fill, that's for sure. And we're going to copy, Control C, Control V. So I've got another one on top of it. And we're going to change that to motif and apply. So we've got a yellow on a yellow motif. So let's change that to something bright, maybe a red. Maybe a red. And that one does not look too bad, but we could come up with something that suits it a little bit better. Jackie Cheeks here. Hello, Jackie. You'll have to watch the replay. Yeah, you got your machine back? Finally. You have to get caught up, I think. So I'm going to select that, and I have a ton in here. So let's see if we can find something that's a little more flower-like. And I just try a few. Now that one's okay. I don't know if there's a zigzag flower, but this is my flower-ish, so maybe if I like it. Oh, even something like that would be great. Let's go in here. Oh, yeah. I kind of like that. Dawn would say it looks like butts, maybe. Looks like a butt. So maybe not. We won't pick a butt flower. Oh, little bees I saw. It almost looks like bees. You want something not satin. It would be too much at this size. But just something that would look good on it. So just something running stitches is what I'm saying. I bet you that would even work just fine. Then you can click on dimensional and see how that looks. That's so random. Looks like a feather. Yeah, Susan Weehee. Look, I was thinking, but yeah, well, you know, it's an ish flower. I'm sure Karina would do something like that. So be prepared. You know she will. Let's try something else. I like when you put dimensional on it. It's totally random. So what happens when you multiply carousel one of these together? You can group it if you want. I have so many things on here I don't bother anymore. So let's see if we're gonna like this. So change the angle. You just don't want anything too, you know, close, I guess. If you you know, satin stitches or something like that, it's going to be too dense was the word I'm looking for. So this is a new type of flower, and what I did is I didn't put it right on 90, and I'm going to bring it right close together, and look at the pattern we get here. I think that's actually really cool, but you could play around with this literally forever, and you can make very interesting flowers. I think that looks great. Let me group this guy so I can move him. Group. There we go. Move him all at once. And it color sorts and everything. So that's the one we just did. Now, it could be dots you could put on it. However you design your first petal, that is what it's going to look like. So you can, fill some of these in. If you do it big enough, you can actually do a color blend as well, but it has to be big enough or it won't work. But you could get a really nice effect with that. Petal play looks amazing. Yeah, it's fun, and you'll be surprised at what you can come up with. This is probably my favorite design here, but you could easily, let's do it. You could easily go back and do the same. Instead of a motif stitch, you could do the same easy design there, and everything will be different. So let's get rid of our motif stitch. You guys will be surprised. I'm going to pick the same color red. I think I used this darker one, or maybe pink would have done. And running stitch, I just want it a little different. So you can go up all this way and down. And there's no real magic to it. Just don't put them too close together if you're going to make a small flower. Random as you can. I like to go back on it so it's a bit stronger. There we go. Let's hit enter. Now look at that. That looks like a wing almost if you do it that way. Isn't that cool? Wait until you see what happens next. So let's go to our carousel multiply. We are going to change the angle. You can see already that it's going to be it's going to be pretty. So I have it on the 90. We want to change the size, and they'll come together. Just keep holding it down. Again, no magic numbers. And I crossed over a little bit, so I'm going to move that back. But I like it crossed over a little bit. Yeah, I want them a bit tighter than that. It's playing. It's playing. Oh, Lila, thank you very much. Always appreciate your support. Okay, you guys, you ready? Boom. There you go. How cute is that? If you had to sit and digitize these, you'd be there all day, or a few minutes anyways, not necessarily all day. But the center of it made a center. Now you can put different centers in it. We'll be talking about those eventually. And I think that looks great. Maybe this one I would change, but, maybe not as well. So that is my favorite way of doing it. I really like the way this one turned out. So you can easily make roses too, believe it or not, roses. Just by using shapes, there's no big deal about it. It's a circle and then a half moon, and then you make them bigger or smaller. And then this one, this is a bud, but it looks terrible, so I'm deleting it. This, I just tweaked it. It's the same thing. I copy and paste, and then I just I went into node mode, and it's not perfect. It's not like an amazing rose. Oh my God, how'd you do that? But it's still a little rose, and I even got two colors in it. So this rose is, let's see, tiny. It's a micro rose. We can make it a little bit bigger because I don't know if it would stitch out that way. Now the satin stitches are split, but that's okay. I could overlap a little bit more, but that's all I did. So let's try it. We'll go step by step on it. So some kind of a circle, groovy. Now I'm gonna fill it so we can see it better. So yes, you can make roses. Yellow rose, perfect. Node mode, and then we're gonna just pull the one over, and at this point don't worry too much. I'm gonna line it up with the other node. That will do just fine. Oops, click apply. Nature isn't perfect, and imperfect is interesting. I agree wholeheartedly. Now this one's in satin, but we're gonna do this one in fill stitch. One thing I forgot to do that I would like to do, other than, whoops, did I ever go too far? It's because I'm zoomed way in. I'd like to change the angle on it. And I think that will make it look better. Apply. Did you apply? Apply. Doesn't like it. Okay, whatevs. Whatevs. Now you can change the size of it. You can move it around. I started on the outside and worked my way in. So that's my outside piece right there. And then I'm gonna use my keyboard, Control C, Control V, because it's easier. Where did it put it? Oh, it should put it right on top. Come on. You're showing all my good stuff for after. Come on. There we go. So, is it here? No. Okay. Where'd you go, sucker? I don't know why it wouldn't copy and paste right on top of it. Oh, well. I'm not going to search. Let's try this again. Edit. Control C. Control V. Okay, must have been a little glitch. And then we can use some of the tools here, so we can reverse it, and then we're going to move it around a little bit, and we're going to make it a little bit smaller. So I'm doing this one, and all you have to do is, you know, play around with it. I'm going to turn that around a little bit more, and I made it a little bit smaller. You kind of want it to match up right there, but isn't that cool already? That's it. It's I love it. So then you just keep going, and what I would do here is go into node mode. This is exactly what I did actually, and I just kind of stretched it a little bit. I didn't move a whole lot of nodes, but I stretched it a little bit so it would fit in, like, you know how a rose is wrapped around? That's what I'm going for. Chris Yost, thank you very much. You like the roses? Yellow roses? So that's easy enough. And again, I just moved a couple of nodes. So then we're going to click on this one, and we're going to, I'm going to do it up here this time. Again, copy and paste, and there we go. Now I want to turn, we're doing this part, but see how they all overlap, and it's a play. You just play around with it as much as you can. Obviously we're going to make it a little bit smaller. We can make a little bit of a turn there, and let's go into node mode, and we're going to pull it out a little bit so it looks, you know, like it's nicely wrapped there. And oops, hit apply. So it's easier than you think, isn't it? Now this one is a little bit weird. This one looks like a boomerang, so I might change that. But oh, hello, that fits in nicely, doesn't it? Let go. Isn't that nice? Isn't that nice? Now I'm going to make each one a different color just so we can see it better. But how cool is this? So the other amendment, now that I've got the little piece in there, is, oh, Isabel, thank you. I would go into here, and all you have to do, I'm going to add a point, is that I'm going to bring it in a little bit and around, so it's a little bit closer in, and I guess I'm going to bring it down probably. But I want it to be closer so it looks like the rose. See how much better that is? The rose is wrapped around. So it's basically the same shape, and it's just halfway or a quarter of the way around like that, and just keep going and just change each one just a little bit to fit in. Believe it or not, it is actually that easy to make a small flower. So small rose, actually. If we're doing a larger rose, of course there's, you know, more detail work and more things to do on it. So let's go here. I just made it a little bit smaller because I want it to fit kind of like this. It's like a puzzle using the same piece. Now here's where you can tweak things. It's looking good, isn't it? I'm going to go back into, oh, Susan Weehee, thank you very much. I'm going to go back into node mode, And now that I adjusted that one, I'm going to have to adjust this one. What I'm going to do is add a point in it, and I want to make that point a line and then bring it out so there's no gaps. So you ready? Yeah, tell me that doesn't look like a rose. So you get the idea. Do it again and again. But what it does is it gives it like depth. I know it looks weird up close, but if you pull it back, it gives it depth. Because this one looks like it's tucked in underneath. So make a shape, make a moon, and you can just put them together with little tweaks so each piece does not look the same, and it's meant to be a small one. So that's how you can do that. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Play around with it. You can always go back and, you know, look at how mine is designed. This is the basic design of it, just wrapping around. That's why I left that one there. That's basically what it is, but you want to refine it like we did with the other ones over to the left. So another idea, and I actually really like this one, you could have a ton of fun. So it is, oh, Gail, thank you. We appreciate every little bit. How would you make a rosebud? Well, I had one, but I didn't like it. So what I did for a rosebud is that I just did an oval because they haven't opened yet. So just kind of like an oval like this. Let me tilt it the other way. And I'm going to fill it with satin stitches because it should be quite a bit smaller. Let's make that one, you know, pink or something. Pink roses are my favorite. So that is it all kind of twisted up. Now, of course, you can tweak this a little bit. Where are we going? There we going. Node mode. Look at all those angles. Goodness. All right, I'm not going to tweak that too much. I'll do it this way. I don't want to mess with it. And then you could maybe fray the edges on it. You could put even one of our moons. Let's turn it around so it looks like it's just opening. Suzanne Shep. Hello, Suzanne. We haven't seen you for ages. I hope you're doing well. And put it like this and, you know, fix it up a little bit so it looks like it's opening, but it looks better when you put it in with a whole bunch of these. Putting it like this to me looks kind of weird, but I did a whole design with it and it looks fantastic. So, all right. I'm just going to take a quick drink here. Moving right along. Here's a few other things you guys can do. So same shape again. You guys will come up with a gazillion ways of doing the petals, because all you have to do is come up with one way and then multiply it. So this one, same kind of petal, not as long, it's kind of short. And I just put in, oh, Sharon Berger, thank you very much. We appreciate it. You can just put stitches to show, you know, definition or different colors. Now, the only thing with this is, you know, try to make it as groovy as you can. I actually changed the stitch type right here, and I think that looks great as well. So it's just a circle, and I just pushed it in, and then I pulled the sides out a little bit just to get that look. I'm going to take that over there and I'm going to make it a little bit bigger. So still using shapes, no clip art here, no clip art. You could leave it like that, but what I did for mine is that I added a couple of extra points. So add point, and I want to add, make it a line, sorry. And I just kind of pulled them in following, you know, my template basically. And let's add a point here and change it to a line. Hopefully you guys are getting really used to node mode, because node mode makes it. And it's nice if it matches, but you know what? You do not have to do anything like that because nature isn't perfect and it's yours. So, and then you can fill it in a little bit. I would tweak it so it matches better and just play around with it. I tweaked here and here. I wanted a smoother look. I copied and pasted and made it smaller, and then I made it thicker through here. And then I finished it with kind of a diamond shape with curved corners. Then you take it to the carousel and look, I think that's gorgeous. I think it's really gorgeous. You could have brought them closer together. I added the circle after. You could bring them closer together. You could outline this. You could merge them. These ones are not merged. It will give it a whole different look. But you could outline this and fill it with a different color, or just simply make a circle. So this one is not the greatest flower I've ever done, but it is a starting point, and I think it'll look better, you know, stitched than what you think it will. So then I thought, let's use the stitches that we have. So I took that very same petal and I changed the stitches, and I was like, woo, that is awesome. It looks even better when you zoom in. Look at that patterning here. You got to remember to make this one big, around this fancy footwork here isn't going to show up. But it is the exact same design, and I played around, which of course is fun. This is a contour stitch, and I changed the density. So in a contour stitch, the density is, oh, Elaine Chapman, thank you. The density is the space between the lines. And if you're doing designs like this and using designed, reminds me of a spirograph. Yeah, kind of. It's kind of the same concept. You could turn each part, each layer part around. You could just seriously have so much fun. But it's the space between, and if you're doing a small flower, there's not going to be enough space between, so it's just going to look like a blob of thread. So always be aware of your sizes and the density. You also, with the contour stitch, have to be careful at the edges because sometimes it gets pretty dense in there. How can you tell? Well, I'm on realistic view just so you guys can see it better. I normally switch back and forth, but it's harder for you guys to see. But you can play around with your density. I wouldn't play around with the stitch length, but let's change it and see. Apply. Oh, I know, it's small. I need to make it bigger for anything to work. And I just changed each level, and then I put it on the carousel and I played around with it. Now this part here might be a little dense, but look at how this part turned out. It crossed over, and the bigger you make it, let's see how big this guy is. Easy peasy lemon squeezy size. 4x4, that's probably a good size. I think this would stitch out okay. It would just show up more like a fill stitch. Anita Good Design sells a Spirograph quilt CD. I've seen it. I love it. I haven't made it yet. But isn't that a cute way to do that? Now this one is the exact same thing. I changed the colors. I changed the density a little bit. But you can see it's the 1, 2, 3 from over there that we started, just kind of plain. And the difference is I don't have them as close on this one. Which I really like. I thought this was so cool, but it looks like the way these go, it looks like the flower is, you know, completely open. It just gives that kind of optical illusion sort of thing. But isn't that pretty? And that is going from plain and simple all the way up to super fancy. Now, again, remember to do it big enough, but you can play around with different stitches. What is whipped? I have no idea what that is. Let's find out. Well, that's cool. So that's a quick change. Lots of depth, lots of detail, lots of everything. And I really like it. Embossed, I don't think, well, it's not quite big enough for that. Jackie Burke, thank you very much. Thank you. We appreciate it. You could play around with that a bit, but you'd have to make a pretty big flower for it to work. So let's do an experiment. Let's go back here to our plain and simple guy. We're going to go back here. Whoops, whoops, whoops. There we go. Oh, I love this one. It just makes you want to just, Okay, so I'm not quite where I want to be. So let me just, oh, always I do that. Always. I move it the wrong way and I move it too much. So let's do an experiment. Let's go File, New, Solve All My Problems. Thank you. Let's pull out an ellipse. And let's go into node mode, and I'm going to just pull out one. We're going to make our perfect teardrop and change it to line. And look at that. It is a perfect shape. Perfect shape. And what we're going to do this time, let's see how big it is. It is not huge, so I'm going to leave it at not huge. And I'm going to convert to complex fill. So just a fill stitch, no biggie. Oops, I have to turn on my, so you can see it. Let's pick a color. Orange. I don't know how many orange flowers there are out there, but it's a flower-ish. And let's try adding a second layer. So orange, and let's do something really weird like number 9, the turquoise. I know the purple and the turquoise looks good, but oh, I know what that did. The same thing I do all the time. I forget to change it. So that's pretty good. I think that would make a difference. I'm going to copy and paste, and I'm going to put this aside up here because we're going to try something different. And I'll show you how it makes a difference on the size. So let's try convex and see what that does. Puts a line in the middle. I don't know, which one do you guys like best? Oh, well, we can try both. And let's go quickly to our carousel. And that looks like, you know, a striped flower, I guess. Is there striped flowers? I don't know. But let's see what effect it gives us. Let's bring them in. And I'm going to bring them in overlapping a bit, auto resequence by color, and you can see even before you bring it out it's 5.5 by 5.5, which should be okay. And let's see how this baby looks. Well, isn't that an interesting effect? Anyone else have a fuzzy screen? Doesn't look like we are dropping anything. It might be your computer dipped. Sarah, welcome. Welcome, welcome. So that one's okay. I mean, it's pretty. Maybe I don't like the colors. We can change one of them. Okay, we like those colors. So I kind of like this one better. You can always do a Control Z and change it, but I'm going to make this a little bit bigger because the effect is so much better. So the outer edge is going to look turquoise and down here is going to look more purple. So let's multiply this one. Oh, I think that's going to be really pretty actually. So I'm going to bring them closer together and I am going to let's try going the other way and have less petals. How about 6? And then change the size and bring them together. And we should be able to make them kind of touch because we have a really good shape. That looks like a logo or something. Resequence by color, that always helps. Final size. All right, so it's a big flower, but it's going to look really cool. Yeah, isn't that pretty? I am happy with, oh, you can't go too far away. You can't see it. Isn't that pretty how that looks? And now you can play around with it quite a lot. And remember, okay, hopefully, oh, this one actually looks kind of groovy now. Interesting. When you stitch this out, hopefully you guys are making your own color blends and stitching them out, because you have to remember on the computer it looks really harsh. Whatever you see on the computer is always it's never going to be what you stitch out. So make sure until make sure that you stitch one out so you get the idea of the different looks of it. So isn't that pretty? Just again, make sure it's big enough. Let me show you. Let's go Control Z and we'll move that back. So that was really big to show it. So let me zoom in, and I'm going to make it smaller, and I'll show you why. Immediately you'll see. It'll still work, but it's not really enough. It may work, but remember too, when you're doing this, you can always add your own more, flair to it. How about like this? I'm going to be a little more careful. Now I've made this quite small, and let's go to enter. And what I want to do is make this, how about white to really, and it doesn't, how about bright yellow? Okay, so now we have a color blend and the center part, and let's multiply this and we'll see. Wow, what do you guys think? That's combining everything. And let's go 6, 5. Okay, we can do 5. And then let's move them in. And I don't think you could do it much smaller than this, but I could be wrong. And I want the centers over a little bit. Auto resequence by color, and okay. And it's the same size as the other one, which is fine. But look at our flower. Okay, so I love short, tall, and then short again. And I think that looks good. So let's see what size the whole thing is. 6 by 6. Okay, that's still big enough. That is probably my favorite one. I really like that. I think that looks beautiful. So let's edit, copy, edit, paste, and then we're going to play around with this one. So I really like this one. The bigger you make it, the better it's going to look. So if you make it really small, when you stitch it, it's not going to have the same effect. It's going to have a little bit of the shading, but this will be, a little more harsh. I think it would look good. 3 by 3, that's a good size. Let's push our luck and see how small. So this is less than 2 by 2. Now, this isn't really a color blend. We've reached the size that it's not really a color blend. However, we are doing flowers, so even if you have a few pieces of the turquoise showing through, it's still gonna look fantastic. Now at the smaller size, I'd pull them apart a little bit, and so it's not too dense right here. This looks too dense to me. I wouldn't want to stitch it out. There's too many needle penetrations in one spot. So I would just do the carousel again and pull them out. But how easy is that? How fantastic is that? Now I have one change that I'd like to make. Not this one, not this one. Connection. I don't know where it is. Right in front of me, maybe? That happens. Chisel. Oh, I guess maybe I have the wrong one selected. Oh, it's grouped, that's why. Don't group. I just want this. Oh, it selects both. Right, because it's grouped. I just said that, didn't I? I want this one. And then change jagged type. You could do that. That would give it a definite good effect. There's what I want. Square. So I was selecting both, so it didn't work. And that's not what I wanted to do. So I had to just select the fill stitch. So what that does, you guys see the difference? It affects how the color blending works. So it has a square edge as opposed to, let's do Control Z. And again, where is it? See how it does? This was the first time. So this is the chiseled edge. And it's okay if you wanted random or anything like that. But I thought it would look better with a square edge. And most digitizing software will offer you this change. But see how it does? It brings it to the edge, and that'll give it a better look as well. I think that would be really cool. So it'll be a lot more turquoise in there and then purple. It may look stripy, but you know what? Whatevs. Whatevs. I don't think it matters. So this is under 2 by 2. I would have to test this out to make sure it works. But I usually say to people, if you're not sure, stand back and you can see how it looks. So what you're going to see mostly is the turquoise on it. But that's fine. That's fine. You'll still get a small effect, but obviously the bigger you do it, the better. Remember the fishish that I did? He was gorgeous with different colors and all the other ones. So those are a ton of ideas for you guys. Just a ton to play around and see how they look. Start simple and then work on one petal and keep going and play around with different things. This is just basic stuff. And so zooming in, it looks even better. So I think the last flower we did was my favorite flower. I really like that one on the other page. I should start doing that one day. I really like this one. It would look really cool with more petals too, or even petals up here. You could copy and paste and just kind of tuck them in there and give it like a bigger flower look. I love it. I'm happy. I'm really happy with that. I even would do this one without the color blend. I think that would look groovy as well. Just, for a smaller flower, I might only do 1 or 2 of these, but this looks magnificent. And it would stitch out and look amazing. So homework, you have 2 things for homework this week. Watch the hatch video that was linked a couple times. You may have to look for the link, but I'll try to remember. Or maybe Dawn, can you post it? Sorry, I need a drink. Can you post the link to that video? Sandy put it up there in the OML Embroidery University Facebook group. Not homework. Yes, homework. And then create your own flowers and have fun. Make sure your stitching ideas will work. Step back a little bit, look closely, stitch them out. Just have a ton of fun. And do watch the video. The video that I made is an hour-long, fantastic class. Now it's in Hatch, but you can use any software for it. And Sharon, I posted the quilt in the OML group. Okay, cool. Um, I thought it had to do with what I'm yakking away about. Um, oh man. What it has to do with is I took a picture of a flower and digitized that same flower 5 or 6 different ways, including applique. And it's a really nice way of digitizing. Most people don't even think of it, but it is a great way to, not have to worry about copyright issues because it's in your yard or it's in the public or anything like that. But it takes a lot to learn how to do it. So check that out. Make some flowers as fancy as you can, as simple as you can. I can't wait to see all of the homework in the group and have tons of fun, you guys. So, could you layer the oval petal and create a more daisy-like, daisy-ish? Um, it, it it would be a little dense. You could probably do it if you're just doing fill stitch, take off the underlay, or you could just tweak the density a little bit and then you won't have any problems. And you can layer. 2 layers is pretty safe. When you get up to 4 or 5 layers, God help you, that wouldn't look good at all. But yes, you could do that. That's, I mentioned, I think, for the daisy one over there, that you could make another layer and make it smaller and plunk it on top and turn it maybe. Remove overlaps. I think we're working a little too small with remove overlaps. I don't think you need to. I think it would be awesome. Sunflowers are one of my favorite flowers. I love the monster ones. I love all the blue jays that come to eat the seeds. I love doing it. And peonies and lilacs. That's all I have. So, okay, you guys, do your homework. Let me know what you think of the video. Let me know how much you learned from it. Like this one, share, make sure all of your embroidery friends are tuning in and watching either live or the replay. You learn a heck of a lot and we have a lot of fun. So, love you guys. Thanks for watching the video. I hope you guys loved the video. And I'll see you guys on Saturday. Thanks, everyone. Bye.